first of all, a daughter, because I came from somewhere. And then I'm a wife. I'm the wife of Dr. Kayode Samuel. I'm a sister to some people, biologically and also not biologically. I'm a mother. I'm a co-worker. I'm a neighbor. And so on and so forth. That's my relationship status.
Thank you very much, ma'am. So she has given us from the Isheshebere, from the foundation, a daughter, a sister, a wife, a mother, and friends to a lot of people. A mentor to some people like us. But I would like to pick on wife. You are a wife. How long have you been a wife for?
22 years in August.
Wow. 22 years in August. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. I say it's wonderful because, honestly, the generation I happen to be a part of, 20 years of marriage is huge. People have 2 years of marriage and a lot of stories. So 22 is huge. Congratulations, ma.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we're talking about my relationship, my career today. You've given us your relationship side. The career side, what do you do?
Okay, for my career, I'll say I'm a teacher. I'm a lecturer in the University of Ibadan, but I prefer to refer to myself as a teacher. I'm also a researcher, and my area of specialization is community nutrition.
Community nutrition.
Nutrition.
A teacher, a professor, a researcher in community nutrition. This is a very interesting topic, considering that I'm a food person. I like food. So, community nutrition. Did you get in secondary school and say, I want to study community nutrition? Or how did you get there?
Thank you for that question. You know, your career is sum total of your training or your education, then your employment experience, and so on and so forth. How did I get into community nutrition? In secondary school, I really didn't have a direction, because by God's grace, I was kind of like an all-rounder. So for example, in my WAEC, I had A in biology, I also had A in French. You can imagine, although I had C in economics. That one I knew from the beginning, I'm not really good in that area. But in a way, I could fit into many modes. And my teachers would say, my French teacher would say, you have to do languages. My TD teacher said, you're an architect. My math teacher said, this one is an engineer. I didn't know what to do. But somehow God led me to a course that people did not expect. I myself did not expect. Food science and technology. Somebody came to our school for career counseling, and it was our old students. And one of them, who was from the Polytechnic Ibadan, studying food science, started talking about it. And something awakened in me. I said, this is it. I love food. I love to see what is happening with food. Okay, I will fill it in. Luckily, I was in the boarding house, so I filled my jam form without my parents' knowledge.
So you made your own choice?
Yes, I made my choice. I wanted to know, how does tin tomato stay in that can for years without spoiling? I need to know. I need to know. So that was what spurred me on. When I entered for food science and technology, finished my 5 years in Ife, I discovered also that within food science, I liked nutrition. Food science focuses on the food, but nutrition focuses on the eater. And that is how I found myself in human nutrition, from Faculty of Technology to College of Medicine. So that is how I made my career choice.
I was really happy when you first said, when you were in school, you had no idea what you wanted to do, because I fit perfectly there.
Exactly.
And I know a lot of my friends fit perfectly there. Till my SS3, to be honest, I really didn't know what I wanted to do. But then, you made a choice. You made a conscious choice.
Yes.
Okay. So how long have you been a professional community nutritionist?
That's also a very good question, because if you want to say the day I graduated from master's class in human nutrition is the beginning of my career, I would say yes, 1997. But if you really look at a career, it's not the day you finish your degree. Yeah. It's the day you start practicing. It's the day you start evolving. Yes. You start, when you finish, you start apprenticeship.
It is getting a little deeper. Getting a little deeper than we understand.
So I would say that I started being a community nutritionist when I graduated and started following the steps of those ahead of me, started taking on tasks that were related to community nutrition, started entering into the nutrition community, the researchers community, attending conferences, going for surveys, all those things that characterize community nutrition. That was when I entered into the career. And even now, I would say I'm a middle-level career person.
Oh.
Yes, as an associate professor, I would not say I'm a senior-level career. I'm in middle-level career. I'm still learning.
There's still a way to go.
There's still a long way to go.
When you were talking, you mentioned, you said something like you consider it starts when you start practicing. Then next you said you start evolving.
Yes.
Wow. So from the start of your career, you had the mindset that you had to evolve.
Yes.
Wow, that is powerful. Okay, let's go to the other side, relationship side.
Okay.
The way you have been talking, you sound like a driven person. I know what I want. I know where I'm going to. I am going to get it. Now, you have been a wife for 22 years. I'm assuming your relationship came in along the line. At what point did it come in?
See, I'm smiling already. Anytime people ask me how we met, how Kayode Samuel and myself met, I smile. Well, our relationship, funny enough, our love relationship that led to the marriage was less than a year.
Less than a year?
Yes. From the point we started the relationship that, yes, in those days we used to say we receive ourselves. From the time we received ourselves and started, going out, till the day of marriage was exactly 10 months. But we have known each other, we had known each other for like 5 years before then. I was in 200 level in Ife. He came to join us in 200 level as a direct entry. He had gone to Poly. He has 2 ONDs before coming. Brother Niwo.
Was he in your department?
No, not in my music department. But we were in the same fellowship. He was in BSF. I was in BSF. Don't smile, don't smile. Because what I will say will make you laugh now. He was in the choir, I was in the choir. At a point, he was choir leader, I was assistant. But all those times, we were brother and sister. And after graduation, we went our separate ways. He graduated before me because he did a 4-year course. He went, then I graduated afterwards. Then I entered for master's. As I was going out of UI from master's, he was coming in because he first went to work. And it was during that period that somehow the Lord led us to one another, and then the rest is history.
I really didn't think this would be so complicated. So now your relationship with your husband of today has existed in 3 forms.
Yes.
First, you were colleagues.
Yes.
Both in school and then in the fellowship.
Yeah.
And then in the choir.
Yeah.
Then you became friends, I guess.
Friends.
Then you married.
Yes.
Okay, let's start from when you were colleagues. From the way you described, there was no attraction, emotional attraction to him, I guess.
Yes. At the beginning, I would say there was no emotional attraction, other than being just normal friends. Normal friends, no spark, so to say.
Okay. Up to the point where you graduated and came back for the master's when you met again.
Yes, it's also a very long story. But after graduation, we went our separate ways. There was nothing else. While I was studying for master's, it happened that there was a certain month that I received too many proposals and I was a bit worried. what is happening to me. It was like 6 different brothers came and like 2 unbelievers. I began to wonder because, let's be factual. It's not as if I'm a Miss Nigeria. I'm not the tallest. I'm not the slimmest. I'm not the fairest in complexion, So I was wondering what was happening. So it led me to the place of prayer. I said, look, I need to settle this thing once and for all. And it was one of those days that it dropped into my mind that it was this person. And I was surprised because I knew that when we were in school, he was in a relationship with somebody else. So I thought, what kind of thought is this? But I prayed over it, mulled over it, and for 17 months waited. 17 months, he was like Adam, sleeping, before he awoke from the sleep and one day recognized me as Eve.
17 months.
I know he's listening now and he's laughing.
Yeah, that's like 1.5 years. Okay, sorry, I have to track back.
Okay.
But you said something. You said, I'm not the tallest, I'm not the slimmest, I'm not the fairest. Was this mentality or insecurity in your mind back then?
Yes, I must confess. If you are a short person, you must have been bullied a lot. And that's the truth. In primary school, on the assembly line, I'm always in front. In secondary, I'm always in front. I mean, it was terrible. It was terrible to be called Kukuru Sambe. I don't know, it's like maybe the people of nowadays are kinder, but in my generation, it was like an offense to be short. So I had to develop some mechanisms growing up of defense. Number one, I had to be good at what I did, so that at least I can compensate. Then I had to be very courageous, to the point that there is nobody I cannot challenge. And then I also learned the art of, as my mother would say, moja mosa. When you know that it's getting out of hand, run away. Those were the 3 things that helped me. But coming to the issue of relationship, I wouldn't say it was really an insecurity, but it was always before me. I was conscious of it. That, look, people will not flock around you. That's what I thought. And I made peace with that in my mind.
Thank you. The reason why I asked that question is because that is one of the major issues we have as well. I see a lot of young people. I happen to be in a position where even when I'm not in a relationship, I'm always called upon to give relationship advice. So I get to hear a lot of stories. So I came to, let me not say a conclusion, let me say an hypothesis that a lot of people go into wrong relationships which they probably know are not the best relationships for them out of insecurity.
Yeah.
Because they think they are not good enough or they might not be able to get someone better. So I like the fact that you already mentioned how you dealt with it. You strengthened yourself,
Yes.
that point. You didn't focus on your weaknesses. You focused, so probably that was part of your drive in your career as well. So you focused on that. And then yourself, you work on your courage, your self-confidence.
Yes.
That is wonderful and that is very instructive.
Another thing is that I gave my life to Christ early in life. I was blessed to encounter Rita Mefa Baptist Church gospel group. They came to my school then in Ogbomoso, and by age 10, I was already a child of God. And then I was lucky to have very good disciples. So they discipled me to the point that I had a close relationship with the Lord. So some of those insecurities, I usually took them to God in prayer. Till today, my prayer life is more conversational. It's like, even far back then, I would tell God if I'm offended. I say, how long can you do me? I would tell the Lord. And so it helped me. It helped me.
Our listeners, you're still on to BABC Radio. And our host for today once again is Reverend, Dr. Mrs. Folake Samuel. And in the few minutes we have engaged, there has been so much to pick. It is awesome. And you probably have an idea why I said she's one of my mentors. You see, a strong woman, a determined woman, a focused woman, a driven woman has gotten to build courage out of herself. She saw a challenge, and by herself, without anybody's help, she decided to tackle it. Okay, the program continues. After you were emotionally attached to your husband of today, how did it influence or affect your professional career?
Very good question. When we started the relationship, he met me as somebody who had just finished masters and who had started a PhD. So already he saw the direction I was going.
Career-focused person.
Yeah, but he also at that time was already a lecturer in the College of Education. And he was doing his MA and aspiring also to do a PhD afterwards. So in that way, it seems that we were kind of in harmony in that area. But the truth is that as I evolved after marriage, there were so many other openings that came up that we did not expect, that we did not know. For example, I did not know or I did not understand the extent to which I needed to travel in my community nutrition work and in research. We didn't envisage that, but somehow we navigated that. Maybe we'll talk about that later. But the question you asked is, after we fell in love,
Yes.
after we fell in love and we got married, how did it influence my career? I must say,
directly, did it distract you?
no, because you see, my husband is also a very focused person. Mine is very obvious because I talk. But if you get to know him, he's quiet, but I think he's even more driven than myself. Once he makes up his mind that he wants to do something, he does it. So the time we started was the time he was rounding off his masters. I had already started my PhD. We were both busy. So it didn't really distract us. I think we were even helping one another. Yes, we complemented one another in that aspect. I don't think it really distracted us.
This, again, is quite instructive to me. But before I make conclusions in my mind, let me put this question to you. Would you advise, if you could, that one should pick someone who has similar goals and similar visions?
I would say, if God is leading you, you are sure God is leading you, there is still the aspect of communication whereby you align each other's goals. In aligning goals, there is give and take. Let me say it now. It hasn't always been like this. I remember that at the beginning of the relationship, my father called my husband and said, he used to call him chief of staff at that time. Chief of staff, this your wife to be, she has started PhD. She will faramo. Are you in agreement with it? Because if you are not, let's know. She may have to drop it for you, or vice versa. It was a very difficult question.
Please, before you go further from there,
Yes.
she may have to drop it
Yes.
because of your marriage.
Yes.
Were you going to drop it if it had to come to that?
Big question. To be factual, I may not have easily agreed to it. But the issue with God is that when He leads you, sometimes you have to take some decisions. If at that point it came to the point of dropping the PhD, then God would have opened another door that will make me know that that PhD was not the way I should have gone. And it happened many times in our marriage. After marriage, I got an appointment in a university, a private university. That same week, I got an appointment in Oyo State College of Education, where my husband was. We were living in Ibadan. naturally my mind went to the university. My husband said he had a feeling that I should not take the university appointment. I was annoyed. I said, what do you mean? Is it because you're in college of education? But do you know that night the Lord spoke to me expressly, do not go to the university. And 10 years after I went to the college of education, I saw the reason, the best reason, the best. God saw the beginning from the end. So I could have dropped that PhD. And I was lucky I had my father to back it up. Because that would have made it difficult if I said, oh daddy, I'm dropping it because of this. I said, what do you mean?
So this brings me to another troubling question. The relationship between relationship and career. They seem like two parallel lines. Your career, what you want to be, what you want to be, your goals, your vision. Relationship is not about you, it's about who we, it's about sacrifice. So they seem like two parallel lines. That at some point, if we get married, we'll meet.
Yes.
How do they fuse? What is that relation? What? I don't know how to answer this question. I hope you understand.
I think I understand what you're saying. Look, by the time you fall in love, you get into a relationship, begin to know in your mind that it is not my career, it is our. And if it is our career, then there is a margin, there is a fusing. And in doing that, there is a lot of give and take. For example, in our earlier days, I had started my PhD before him. He said, okay, the family will not be able to cater for 2 PhDs at the same time. So he said, you finish it. But in between, I had to give birth to the 2 children in Yoruba land to say, I want to be from Abi. So I was giving back to children for him. My PhD elongated to 6.5 years, but he patiently waited. But my Lord compensated him. As soon as I finished, he started his own. He finished in less than 2 years, record time. In fact, he had to keep his abstracts for the statutory shortest time to lapse before he submitted. The Lord compensated him. Afterwards, I had to go for a postdoc in South Africa. I said, I'm not going. My husband replied, he entered my email box, replied them and said, I accept. On my behalf, I wept. I said, Kayode, why are you doing this? He said, these children are still young. This is the only time we can be apart. Go. By the time they are teenagers, you are not going anywhere. So I went for my 1 year. It was tough, it was hard, but we did it. Afterwards, there have been many situations. I got fantastic jobs in UN agencies, but because I have to be with Kayode and the children, I dropped them. So for example, at the time I was earning 65,000 as a salary. One of the UN agencies said I should come for a job at 450,000, and I said no.
From 65?
Yes. And I said no. Because it is our career, our relationship, our life.
This situation is getting complicated. So before you mention these figures, I was going to say, so at the point where the relationship comes in, where you fuse with someone else, your career and the person's career should fuse as well.
Yes.
But now you brought the issue of 65,000 naira to 450,000 naira.
Oh, yes.
I stand to be corrected, but I think in my generation today, that would cause a major problem in a relationship.
Yeah. I think from what I see among millennials, it will be a big issue. And I don't blame them. Perhaps because of the environment now, the increased needs, how they were raised, what they watch on TV, westernization, and so many other things. Maybe that could have been the cause. But by and large, whether you are a millennial or not, if you are a Christian millennial, there is the point where you listen to God. There is the point where you list family life, career, and you put it in a scale of preference, and you decide what is best. For me, when I get to heaven, I want to be known as somebody who entered heaven with her husband and with her children, rather than she was a fantastic community nutritionist. Of course, as a community nutritionist, we save lives, physical lives. But I think my number one would have been, I got to heaven with Kayode, with the children, with my extended family. We made it.
So, if there is going to be, if I get married today and I get the job offer that's paying me 450,000 naira instead of the 65,000 naira I'm earning today, I should take it to the Lord in prayer.
You have to take it to the Lord in prayer.
I think that will probably be
And
the
in that
best.
prayer, we pray the prayer of the Lord, let this cup pass over me. Nevertheless, not my will, but yours be done.
Not my will, but yours. Thank you very much. From personal knowledge of you, I know you relate with young people, teenagers, youth a lot. What would you say is one of the, or some of the common mistakes we make in choosing careers these days?
In choosing careers and not in choosing a spouse, in choosing careers. Careers.
Before I even go that far,
Okay.
do we choose careers these days?
Actually, the issue of career, if you look at textbooks, online resources these days, you see that the word career is a very fluid one. You can start in one direction, and at a point in time you delve into some other place. And I think my life also exemplifies it, starting from food science and technology into nutrition, and in nutrition now it's now going also into environment, into policy. I mean, you flow.
True, but those ones are related.
Yes.
Well, now when you say you want to be an architect, and you I say your cut-off is there, and they give you social science and management.
Yeah.
Where do you go from there?
Yeah, I think the matter of admission now is more acute. I agree with you. In my time it was easier. It's now more difficult. But for you, I think admission is so tough that when you get admission, number one, make sure you are at peace with yourself with that admission. If you cannot find peace, find your way out. Find your way out. But once you are there, accept it that I'm there. What is the good in this career? Don't allow societal perceptions to make you feel ashamed of your career. Like when I started food science and technology, I had an uncle that told my mother, what's she doing for 5 years in food science? What do they want to teach them that you have not taught her in the kitchen? So you don't allow yourself to be despised because of your course. You stand your ground and then you look at it. Then the other thing is that your course really doesn't determine your livelihood. A university education is just to broaden your mind. You may be a botanist and at the end of the day become a chartered accountant. I've seen such diverse moves. I've seen people that have studied economics who are caterers.